All right. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Explorer Classroom. My name is Ariel Simons. On behalf of National Geographic Education, I am so happy to see you all here today and to welcome you to another episode of Explorer Classroom. At National Geographic Education, we believe in the power of exploration, wonder, and storytelling to change the world for the better. Explorer Classroom connects students around the world with our National Geographic Explorers for short lessons, followed by time for your questions. We've been running events every Monday and Thursday, but at the end of this week, we're going on winter break, just like many of you. And maybe some of you are already on snow days and break right now. Our episodes will be back up on January 18th. And until then, you can check out all of our past events on YouTube right here whenever you'd like. And today we are so lucky to be joined by Rio Heriniaina. I'm going to ask you to say your name correctly because I think I messed that up. But Rio is an explorer who is dedicated to protecting the indri, which are large lemur species from Madagascar, which are super cute and super cool. I'm excited for you all to see them. Today, Rio is going to tell us about his work with the Lemur Conservation Project in Madagascar, and we'll all get to know the amazing, critically endangered indris a little bit better. And before we get to Rio's lesson, I'd like to thank our friends at LEGO for supporting this event and promoting exploration with their LEGO Friends kits. I also want to acknowledge that we're joined on screen by several student groups, and we have hundreds of students registered to participate with us today. Today, we have students joining us from Canada, Colorado, Georgia, Idaho, Indiana, Ireland, Massachusetts, Maryland, Michigan, North Carolina, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, Oregon, Texas, Spain, Wisconsin. And a couple special shout outs we want to give to Creekside Intermediate, Dexter Schools, Fairfield Local Middle School, Franciscan Montessori Earth, IES Aven Moriel, and International School of Brooklyn, John F. Kennedy School, Miss Hanley's fourth graders, Miss Newman's class, Plymouth Public Schools, Rowan and Goldie, Ryerson Heights, Toronto District Virtual Schools, TVDSB, and York Region District Schools. I am so glad you're all here with us today. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Rio for today's Explorer Classroom lesson. So Rio, take it away.
Yes, thank you very much. Okay. Thank you very much for giving me the floor, and I'm so happy to tell you about the story of Indri. Especially, it's my first time that I give a talk for kids. I really love kids, so it's a big opportunity for me to share it with you. Today, we are talking about lemurs, about Indri. Okay? But let's start with, where is Madagascar? Because when I got a friend from US, when they come here, they didn't know that Madagascar is in Africa. So here, I'm from here, this is Madagascar. Now in US, I think it's morning, but now in Madagascar, it's dark, it's 6 p.m. So you know that how far is Madagascar from Canada, from US? And we belong to Africa. We are island. We are the fourth big island in the world. When you talk about Madagascar, you know, Madagascar, the movie, isn't it? That a lot of kids knows about Madagascar. But we don't have lion. We don't have giraffe. We don't have that in Madagascar. But we have cute, very cute animal species. We have lemurs. Currently, we have more than 100 species of lemurs. And this year, there is a new one. We discovered new mouse lemur. It was this year, a few months ago. And today, we are talking about Indri, one of them. When I was a kid, I have a dream like you, and my dream is to save Indri. That is my dream. Why? Because they're so cute, and that's why I was involved with National Geographic Society, National Geographic Explorer, and I also selected as Edge Fellow to work on indri to save these giant lemurs. As Ariel said, this is one of the largest lemurs in Madagascar. We'll talk about that later. Let's talk a little bit about history. Few millions ago, there are several species of lemurs. Like this one, it's like Megaladapis. Its weight more than 100 kilo. It's huge. And now, the largest lemur species is indri. It weighs only 10 kilo. So all the species between 10 kilo and 100 kilo was disappear. You can see in the photo, they've got a lot of species in Madagascar, but they got extinct. Currently, the biggest one is indri, my species, and we have also the smallest one. It's called mouse lemur. It's like a mouse. It's tiny. It's only 30 grams. It's very tiny. Let's talk about indri. This species, it's very special because it is the biggest lemurs in Madagascar, as I told you. The second thing that it makes indri special is they live in pair. They stay together, the mom and dad, and they're together for life. That is so special. That is very good. Then, if the indri, it is the only lemurs without long tail. They don't have tail. They have only short tail, very short one. That make it very special. Then, every morning, they'll give a call like whoop, whoop, that they did every morning. Let's listen to them quickly. That is indri. Oops. We're going to hear the vocalization. They're gonna sing every morning, like all the family. They're cute, isn't it? That is the song of indri. Let's move on. Okay, so each individual, because they are living in group, 3 individual, 2, 6 individual, the dad, the mom, the kids, they sing together every morning, like 6 p.m., 6 a.m., 7 p.m. They always do this call. Then indri, they're active every day. That's called diurnal, because they do their feeding, they're like traveling every day. They are sleep at night. Because that's called diurnal in scientific world. Then they're living in group. They eat mostly leaves. That's why they called folivore or folivores. Then in Malagasy culture, as I'm from Madagascar, I'm Malagasy. We are Malagasy. It is forbidden to eat in indri. It's taboo to eat them. That is belong to my culture. Where to see the indri in Madagascar? The indri is found in the east coast of Madagascar, because in the east coast of Madagascar, in the eastern part of Madagascar, there are rainforests. They need rainforest because they're larger, they need to jump, so they need like higher, tall tree, and the rainforests are tall. And as also, they need many leaves. So in the rainforest, there are a lot of species of tree, of leaves that they can eat. That's why they found mostly in the east coast of Madagascar. Here I have another video I took just recently from the field, because currently they have a baby. You can see, the baby was born a few weeks ago. So them, it's the same, they make a call and they travel. But I want to show you that these species, they're cute, they're so special. I like them. And you can see that they stay higher in the tree. And this mom, they're looking for the member of family. That's why they make this, that she make this call. Like she's lost, where is the others? That's why she make this call. Then why we need to conserve the indri? What are the reasons? In Madagascar, we don't have Big Ben. We don't have Eiffel Tour like in Paris, Big Ben like in London, but we have indri. This is endemic from Madagascar. You can see lemurs in the zoo abroad, but it was from Madagascar. That's why it's endemic. You can see, if you want to see lemurs, if you want to see indri in wild, you need to come to Madagascar. You will visit with your parents to Madagascar, and you will see the indri. So this is endemic from Madagascar. Then, as I said before, this species is in brink of extinction. Why? That's why I asked this question. Why indri are in brink of extinction? Because there is hunting. Some people hunt. It's a shame. Then, few years ago, there was 11 lemurs was killed. 2 was indri. It's killed by people for food. That is one of the reasons that this species will be disappear if there is no effort, if there is no action. After that, habitat loss. Many forests were destroyed in Madagascar, like artisanal mining, or to grow up some rice, because we eat a lot of rice. That is one of illustration. This is the habitat of indri, or people destroy it. They don't have a home. That people carried, then they grew up some rice. That makes indri in brinks of extinction. They will disappear if there is no action. So I will tell you what I do, what my team do every day in the forest. I will tell you that to save this species. First, we do a lot of tree nurseries. We plant tree with local community. We have huge, many species. For this one, this tree nursery, we have more than 10,000 plants, and we plant them in the forest for the for the indri. All of them are eaten by indri. So we restore their habitats. We are talking with local community. We are talking with the woman. Let's plant some trees for the lemurs. That I do in Madagascar. I also teach some young Malagasy from local community to do some scientific research. We are going to the field, then we take some data, like how many indri are there? We need to know that. Like how many groups are in the forest? How many species of plants they eat every day? So we collect data related to that. And I work closely with local community to do this action. We need that. We need that for science. We need that for education. Also, I do some education, like I go to the TV, I'm talking with the radio to explain to the people why it's important to conserve lemurs, why it's important to conserve indri. Then, as your kids, I do a lot of conservation education. We do like drawing, we teach them, like we give some book to them and teach all the kids like why it is important. Lemurs is important because it brings tourists. Also, they give help because some of them participate to the restoration. They disperse. They're seed dispersal, some of them. So if we don't have lemurs, the plant cannot grow because there is no disperser. So I teach the kids because there will be the future. There will be a future generation for Madagascar. In 50 years, in 20 years, they will be the leader in conservation. So they need to know, like you are lucky today that I give a talk about indri. Then in the field also, I promote some livelihood activity. For example, this photo was I took it 3 days ago. I was from the field. I give like training, and this will be beekeeping. So I promote some beekeeping from the local community. Like this, they have a job and they don't cut tree. Apart from that, I have another livelihood activity with the local community. So every day, I need to work in the field to save indri. But there is a hope. Why? Because currently, there are few Malagasy, like me, are interested in lemurs. There is many Malagasy primatologists. And in Madagascar, we got several lemur centers. We've got in north, in south, in east, and all the stations are led by well-known primatologists. A lot of young Malagasy work with them to get some experiences, to teach, and to give some job to local community. That is hope, because we are interested to conserve lemurs. As my take-home message, last slide, lemurs conservation is challenging. Working on lemurs is hard work, but we have a hope that indri will not disappear. We need your help. You need to share this information with your parents that lemurs are cute. It's important to conserve them. Then in Madagascar, we need to work with local community to save the biodiversity, to save indri. Then thank you very much for National Geographic for invite me for this talk, and also other organizations that supported me, Madagascar government. VNOC is my organization that supports, that helped me to do my work. Then this is my contact, and thank you very much indeed, and looking for your question. Thank you very much.
Rio, that was amazing. Thank you so much. You are right. Lemurs are very cute. And I loved hearing their noises and seeing that they come in all these different sizes. So cool. And so our folks on YouTube, you can copy down this contact information if you'd like. And then Rio, you can stop sharing your screen and we're gonna do some questions. This is the best time of the day, question time. So if you're watching us online, you can send your questions into the chat bar. And we will record them as they come in. So you only need to send it once and we'll track them. And don't forget to tell us who is asking the question so that we can give a shout out to them as well. So if you're on the screen with me, get ready with a nice loud voice. I'll tell you when it's your turn to ask the question. And our first question is going to come from our viewers online. And Doreen wants to know, why do lemurs sing every morning? Why do they make that noise? Do you know?
Okay. Lemurs sings every morning because one of their behavior, they are territorial. They live in territory, like territorial. They have like home range. So every morning they need to travel, like to see where is my territory, to give some alarm. This is my territory. There is several type of call, like territory call, as I said. There is also love call. There is alarm call. If there is like predator, like birds, like predator bird, they give like different call, like to give some alert. Be careful, like call. That's why they have this call, like early morning. So there are several reasons for that.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right, our next question, we're going to go to one of our viewers who is here with us right now. So Lila, can you unmute and ask your question nice and loud?
My question is, when did you start exploring and wanting to save the lemurs?
Great question.
Thank you, Leila. I was starting to exploring and want to save lemurs when I was a kid, because like you, my grandfather worked in forest. That's his work when he was young. Then every morning, like every Saturday morning, we walked like together in forest. And that gave me like this things like loving, like I want to do this because my grandparents, they love it. And we walk every morning in forest, we see lemurs. And that led me to choose my career. That's why when I was at university, I just go deeply, I want to study forest. I want to study lemurs because when I was a kid, most of the time, every weekend, I go to forest. It's like, it's not new for me to go to the forest. It's not new for me to see indri, because when I was a kid, I was used to that.
Awesome, thanks, Rio. All right, Mrs. Lukács, do any of your students have a question? If so, unmute.
I haven't received any yet, but I will let you know if any come in.
Okay, no problem. All right, we're going to go to one of our online viewers. And we got a couple questions. Noah from Mrs. Seppi's class asked how tall are lemurs, and Rebecca from the same class wants to know how big are their tails. So I think it would help for us to know, like, what are the size of these lemurs? I know some of them were super small and some were huge. Can you give us an idea of how big they actually are?
Okay, so the indri, they're around 9 to 10 kilo. 9 to 10 kilo. That is the largest lemurs. But the smallest, it's very tiny. It's like a mouse. Like it's adult, but adult around 30 grams. It's really tiny, like a mouse. That's why it's called mouse lemurs.
Cool. All right, so all different sizes, some that can fit in your pocket and some that could like stand next to you.
Yes,
all right,
yes.
cool. Okay, and so we have a couple more questions from our folks who are on screen with us here. I'm gonna go to Roseanne. Roseanne, can you unmute and ask your question?
Can lemurs be a little dangerous sometimes?
Ooh, good question.
Good question. Yeah, not really. When I was in field, I never had like danger related to lemurs. But some people do their like pet. Lemurs not pet. They live in forest. If they're pet, they can be dangerous because in the house you cannot give leaves every day. Yeah.
Okay.
They need to be in the forest, but they're not dangerous. It's not.
Cool. Okay, not dangerous, but also not good pets. That is good to know. All right, and we had a couple questions about where lemurs live. And I know you mentioned that they're endemic to Madagascar. Can you tell us what that means? Do they live anywhere else or only in Madagascar?
Okay, where lemurs lives? Lemurs lives in the forest of Madagascar. They live in forest of Madagascar. You can, as I said, there are several species, 113 species. Some of them live in rainforest, like indri. Some of them live in the south, in dry forest, like ringtail lemurs or lemur cata. They're in the south. We have also, it's called black lemurs in north Madagascar. So in different parts of Madagascar, we have lemurs. They're from Madagascar. And when I said this word endemic, it means that it cannot found anywhere. They're from Madagascar. Nowhere else have it. They're originally from Madagascar. You can see in the zoo, as I said, in France, in US, in Germany, but they're from Madagascar.
All right, so we're not going to run into them in our homes where we live, but we'll have to visit Madagascar if we want to see them. We had a couple questions from our online viewers. Noah and also Ainsley in Mrs. Glover's class wanted to know, how long do lemurs live?
Good question. It depends which species you are talking about. It can be 30 years, 20, 25 years. We know that for indri, it's maybe more than that. So
wow, that is really long.
Yes.
Whoa, much older than all of you students here today. All right. And then one of our online students wants to know, Paloma, you had a question. Feel free to unmute and ask your question.
My question was, how can we help to help them not be extinct?
What a good question. Rio, how can we help?
Okay, that's a good question. What you can do is, first, you can talk with your parents. You can talk with your friends that lemurs are cute. That's important, like to transmit the knowledge. Because if you don't know why it is, if you usually don't know why we need to conserve it. You need to know first. Then if you know it, today you know about indri, isn't it? Then you want to conserve. If you don't know, cannot conserve. Then knowledge is important, like today. Then sharing knowledge is important. Then you can talk with your parent that you can help with National Geographic. As I'm National Geographic explorer, you can talk to them that how can we help? If I have opportunity, when you'll be teenager, you can help me to go to the field, collect some data, to go to visit some zoo, to go to the forest. That is part of helping, I think.
Awesome. Thank you, Rio.
Sure.
Okay, and we have Mrs. Lukacs class. I believe you all have a question ready. Unmute and tell us your question.
So one of my students, Emma, she wants to know how long lemurs have been endangered for.
How long I've been, okay, when I talk about lemur species, there are several species, sorry. For example, indri, my species, it have been currently, the statute, it is critically endangered. There is a scientific community to decide it based on some criteria. For example, their population decline. That is one of the criteria. Like their area of distribution, if it's found only in small area, that might be distinct. I was talking about the pressure, like if there's a higher pressure that make them in danger, that classify them like in danger, critically in danger. Some of them are in danger. Some of them are vulnerable. There is some classification given by scientific. The community, it's called IUCN, International Union for Conservation Nature. And there is one branch for lemurs, for primatology. And how long? You said like how long lemurs? When you talk about lemurs, I said there's a lot of species, but if you talk about ring-tailed lemurs, years ago, I think 4 years now, it's become critically endangered. Before, it was endangered. Now it's upgraded. 4 years ago, indri was critically endangered. And based on the survey, based on the pressure that I have shown you, like there's intense pressure, they're still critically endangered. Some of them, they're still vulnerable. Some of them are data deficient. So it depends which species we are talking about. It depends on them, the classification of the status of each species.
Wow, that is good to know. And interesting that only in just a couple of years it has become such a big problem. So it's good to know that we can learn about this now and hopefully do something to increase their populations again. I have a great question that I really love from Gabriella in Miss Colameda's class, who wants to know, why do lemurs have such big eyes?
Want to know that?
Gabriella,
okay.
Yeah, Gabriella online had asked this question. So why do they have big eyes?
Thank you, Gabriella. That is a great question. Lemurs have big eyes because when I was talking about diurnal, some of them are nocturnal. It means they are active at night. And most of the species active at night, they have big eyes. Because at night, we need like big eyes for food, to looking for food. Then, because they're predator, there are a lot of species predator at night also. So that is kind of strategies for them, like to have big eyes, and some of the predator are afraid of them. That is another explanation why they have big eyes. It's different, for example, when you compare indri and the mouse lemurs have big eyes. The small one, because there are nocturnal species. They need this eyes for food, for predation, and active at night also they need that.
Awesome.
But-
Thank you. That makes total sense. We're going to go to one of our online students here. Reese had a question. Reese, feel free to unmute and ask your question.
My name is Reese and I have 2 questions.
Okay, go for it.
My first question is, why are people endangering lemurs for, I think I know one reason, because I think they just don't care about them and they just do what they want, but they don't really understand that they are endangering them. But I'm not exactly sure who does it and what they do to endanger.
Mhm.
Okay, that's a good question. We'll start with that. So why are people endangering lemurs? Is it just that they're being selfish?
Okay. People endanger lemurs because, I should say, Madagascar is one of the poorest countries in the world. People are poor. Then they cut the trees for food, or they sell the timber, sorry, to have some money. And that destroy the lemurs habitat. As I
because
saw you. Sorry?
of the fire, like when you're
Not
making,
fire, but go for it.
it just makes fire and it destroys their habitat, and also the working does.
Yes, they cut the tree, then they make fire. Then lemurs die. Some people hunt also. They hunt for food. They eat. It's a shame. Then there is another reason, like there is some mining company who destroy some forest. But in general, we, human kill, human are the first factor to destroy, to kill lemurs.
That is
That's
good to
why,
know.
yeah, that's why my team work hard every day to reverse this. When I saw that, I do like junior series, I do like survey, I give some job to local community. I need to talk with National Geographic, like, oh, I need some funding. Can you help me? Because we need that, especially, we know that there is COVID. Like in US, it's everywhere in the world. Coronavirus has an impact, really negative here in Madagascar. A lot of people lose their job. So they destroy forest, they kill lemurs, they sell lemurs because there's no job. Yep.
Okay, thank you. That is really good to know and to better understand these situations that make people do these things that might be hard for us to understand because lemurs look so cute. And Reese, we'll get to your second question later, but I'm going to move to Esme. Esme, can you unmute and tell us your question?
Hi, my name is Esme, and my question is, are lemurs friendly, or like, can you like pet them, or like, are they not? Like, would they bite you?
That is a good question because they look so cute. We want to pet them, but is that a good idea, Rio?
Okay, lemurs are cute, but they're super cute in the forest. I love to see them in forest, not at home. It's not a good idea to have them at home. It's a good idea to visit the forest and to see them in the forest. That is the best one, but they are not pets. They cannot be survived at home. They will be die.
That is good to know. Okay, so just observe them in the forest. We're not going to take them home. Okay, we have a question online, which is Miss Colameda's class. They want to know, how do lemurs survive the winter? And maybe this is a question of, is there a strong winter in Madagascar? Here on where I am, it snowed yesterday and it's very cold. So does it get cold there, and do lemurs have to survive winter?
Yeah, we don't have snow here in Madagascar because we are a tropical country. We have rain and hot. We don't have snow here. But when it's rainy during the rainy season, currently it will be rain. December, January, February, March, that will be the rainy season in Madagascar. Then the temperature go lower, like 5 degree, 7 degree. It's cold here when it's 7 degree. Imagine in my town, it's 30 degree. I live in the north. And if it's like, I'm used to 30 degree, I'm used to 29. If it's like 5 degree, it's freezing, like, oh, it's super cold, I need a coat. For lemurs, they're living in group. If it's like winter, they have another strategy. They get go together in the top of forest, not in the top of forest, but in the middle of the tree, because in top it's cold as well. So they just gather together. They don't travel a lot. They're not traveling everywhere when it's cold, because there'll be that's need a lot of energy, or food might be scarce. So they stay together. They don't travel far, just short. That help them to with winter time in Madagascar.
That is good to know. Okay, stick together, don't move, don't expend too much energy, and you can survive some bad weather. But luckily it doesn't get too cold there. All right, we have Sai who has a question on screen. Sai, unmute and ask your question nice and loud.
Can lemurs do flips?
Can lemurs do flips? Can they do any like acrobatics or jump around over each other?
Flips. They jump. They jump, but I never do like they do flips, like acrobatic things. But they're so quick when they jump in the tree, from the tree to the tree. They're so quick. It's super good to see them like traveling together, like talk, jump, jump, jump in forest from one branch to one branch. But they never fall down. They never fall down.
Okay, so they're athletic, but maybe not acrobatic. That is good to know.
They're athletic, not acrobatic. Yes.
All right, Michaela, can you unmute and ask your question?
We might not get through all of my questions because I have 4.
4. Choose your favorite one.
Can I pick 2?
Okay, we'll start with 1 and then we'll get to the next.
Okay. Are ring-tailed lemurs extinct?
Okay. Currently, they're critically endangered. Currently. So they're in brink of extinction. They're still ring-tailed in Madagascar. They're still, we have it. But if the pressure will be higher, if it's continue to be higher, like fire, slash and burning, hunting, they will be distinct in the near future. But currently, we still have ring-tailed lemurs or lemur cattle. We still have them. I love them as well.
Awesome. Yeah, and I know where I am, you can see them in the zoo, so maybe you can find if there's a place near you where you can see them. All right, and then Michaela, did you have one more question that you want to ask quickly?
And when you went in National Geographic, I saw a lemur that looked small, but it had eyes like this, like bug eyes. I wanted to know what that was called.
Okay, what's the name of the really small ones with the huge eyes?
Oh, very small one with a huge eyes called mouse lemur.
Mouse, like a little mouse.
Yes, like a little mouse. It's called mouse lemurs.
Wow.
Lemur. That's an easy one to remember. All right, I think we are about at time now. So Rio, thank you so much for sharing with us today all about lemurs. And we have one last question for you, which is, what advice do you have for all the young explorers out there who are watching today?
Can you repeat your question, please?
Yeah, what advice do you have for any young explorers who are watching today? I know you told them to learn about lemurs, tell their family, tell their friends, to help with lemur conservation. Any other pieces of advice for the young people who are watching?
Okay. I think the first advice for the young explorer for today is listen. That is important. Listening. As you are kids, it's better to listen and explore. What listening? For example, most of people here, most of kids, they're used to what is it? Game. Play game. They don't listen to their parents. When we talk about conservation, like, oh, we don't care about it. We just playing games. It's important to listen to the older, the parents. Then, related to conservation, in Madagascar or for indri, as I said you, it's better that you should connect together as like young explorer from US. Connect and talk to the National Geographic. Like if you need like talk like this, or if you want to help us in Madagascar, you can talk to them directly. If you talk to National Geographic, we're sure that your message will be listened here. That is my advice. You know that I know most of you like, what should I do? We are inside the National Geographic family. So when you got Ariel or National Geographic 13 years, it will be us. We are in big family. Thanks.
Awesome. That was excellent advice. Okay, so listen, reach out, ask questions, work with folks who might be interested in this work as well, and you can make a difference in lemurs' lives too. So thank you so much, Rio. This was so fun. It was so cool to hear about lemurs, big and small and little and tall. And for those of you who want to check out more of Explorer Classroom, we have many free educational resources at natgeoed.org. So you can head over there if you want to see more about Explorer Classroom or any of our other programs or resources. As a reminder, we are going on winter break, and we'll see you again in the new year, coming very soon. For those of you celebrating, I want to wish you a very happy Hanukkah, happy holidays to all of you out there. Thank you again to Rio for spending time with us today. Thank you to our friends at LEGO for supporting this event. Thanks to our students for their thoughtful, fun, silly questions, especially the ones about lemur flips. And thanks to all the teachers out there for making this happen. That's all today, folks. Happy holidays, and we will see you after.